So today we're having a Kriya Yoga initiation for Shika. Is anybody else who's been attending Satsang regularly, would you initiate today also? Speak up and let me know.
Yes, Guruji, I'm here. I can hear you.
That's Shika.
Pranam, Guruji.
That's it. So would anyone else other than Shika like to be initiated today?
Yes, Guruji. I've got the flowers and the.
Okay.
Pranam, Guruji.
That's it.
That's all, Guruji.
Well, we're going to have the Kriya Yoga initiation for Shika today. So anybody who regularly attends Satsang, or if you're attending Satsang for the first time, go ahead and sign out for today's Satsang, and I'll have Satsang again for everybody next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
I have one question.
Yes.
How the initiation works?
How does it work?
Yeah, how it goes. I mean, the process.
I teach you Kriya Yoga techniques, and you practice the techniques every day. And the techniques are to help facilitate your goal of self-realization. I thought you've been attending Satsang a few times, haven't you?
Yeah, several times.
Okay. And what was your primary purpose of attending?
I was talking about meditation with my friend Scott, and he told me about you.
Okay.
Since there, I have been basically enjoying the Satsangs a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, I never asked you through the Satsang anything about like the initiation. Just once by chat or something, but it was just like that.
Have you been practicing some sort of meditation?
Yes, I just go to my place where I sit, and I'm just trying to be there, sitting straight in the right posture, but I'm not practicing any like proper like Kriya Yoga or something like that.
Okay.
Just putting my hands like this. I'm just being with myself, my own existence, dealing with that, calming my thoughts, my everything.
Well, it's obvious to me that you want to learn how to meditate properly, to connect with the supreme energy or God, whatever name that you prefer to use. And, today's perfect opportunity for you. So
That's great.
There's a formality in that there's some ritual, but it's basically just me teaching you how to meditate in the tradition of Mahavatar Babaji and Lahiri Mahasaya, Sri Yukteswar, and Paramahansa Yogananda. And it's an ancient technique and ancient tradition that's proven to work. Primarily problem that people have when they try to meditate is how do I do it? What is the purpose of it? How do I go about it? How do I know if this is an effective routine? What is an effective routine? So effective meditation is that concentration exercise that elicits calmness and peace of the mind. And when the mind is made calm, the truth that it always is behind the static, the energy, the talking of the mind, stands self-evident. So what was formerly in the background comes to the foreground, comes to the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So we'll have Kriya Yoga initiation for today for Dan and for Shika. And after I teach you the techniques, then the ritual part is I'll invoke our lineage of gurus, my lineage of gurus, and ask for them to bless you and to bless your practice.
Thank you.
I'm sorry if I kind of startled you with the initiation. I know that wasn't what you were expecting. But now's a good time. Yes?
Yes, Guruji, it's good time.
So Kriya Yoga it isn't a religion, it isn't a belief, so you don't have to have a particular religious belief. You don't even need to have any concept of God at all. And in fact, it's best if you don't. But if you do have a concept of God, a religious concept, say concept of Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, concept of that type, those avatars and those people, we're all talking about the same thing. And that same thing is what I refer to as God. And it's the same God for every person. Every person has been created. We didn't create ourselves. Something created us, and something created us for a purpose. So any intelligent human being with even a little bit of self-awareness would ask ourselves, why am I here? What am I? What is my purpose? Am I just a human being? Am I more than that? Why can't I find lasting happiness? Why can't I find lasting peace? Why can't I find lasting love? These are the common questions. And then we start to, as we ask the questions, answers come to us in certain ways. Initially, when I asked the question, I came across the Bhagavad Gita in the Vedas. And of course, I had already read the Bible. The Bible has some, when Jesus spoke in the Bible, it seemed very simple and very clear. It made sense to me. The rest of the Bible, I really didn't quite understand. But I understood enough to know that I wasn't interested in everything in the Bible. I was interested in what Jesus said about God. And then when I came across the Bhagavad Gita and then the Vedas, I saw that they were talking directly about God and nothing else, and just right directly to the point of what am I? Why was I created? What is my purpose? Answered it very, very clear and simple. Some Indian culture and Indian teachings, some Western culture and Western teachings. I understood the difference between cultures, but I understood that God was the creator of cultures. God was the creator of humans, and then humans joining together over time became cultures. So I wasn't confused by the differences in culture, but I did understand that what I wanted is I wanted knowledge. I wanted knowledge of God, and not book knowledge, written knowledge. The books that I read, and they were all very good books. And as I mentioned, the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedas, and they spoke directly of God and of uh, what we are and what our purpose is. But the book itself didn't satisfy me. I knew that only experience would satisfy me. So what Kriya Yoga does is Kriya Yoga facilitates the experience. We don't need more beliefs. Beliefs don't save you at the hour of crisis. Beliefs can give you something to have faith in, but they don't save you when everything else flees you. If you're in danger, for example, and you don't have if all you have is a belief, you're not it doesn't alleviate your fear. But if you have knowledge, in simple terms, for example, if you have a father, and if you're in danger, you can call to your father, and you know for certain that your father is going to come and help you, right? It just makes sense. We see it all throughout nature. We see mother birds and father birds looking after the little baby birds. I see it every day. And we see parents looking after the children. Books don't look after anybody. Books don't know who we are. Books don't recognize us because books don't have consciousness and books don't have awareness. So I understood that initially I was reading books not to find the answers, but rather to help formulate a more correct question of what it was that I'm looking for. But most people not knowing anything other than spiritual books, they think that they found the answer in a spiritual book. For example, we use the Bible, and it's common for most Christians to think that the answer lies in the book, in the Bible. Well, there are answers in the Bible, but there isn't the answer. And the answer is, what am I? What is my purpose? And who created me? The Bible doesn't answer that question because it's not possible for a book to answer that question. Now, if we had been in front of Jesus and Jesus in front of us, we could ask Jesus, you know my heart of hearts, you know my thoughts, you know what I need, you know what I want. Please help facilitate the satisfaction of my desire. And Jesus would completely understand. You can say that to the Bible. You can request it of the Bible, and the Bible isn't going to speak back to you. So what is needed is a living master or a living instructor, somebody who can teach you. And it isn't necessary to think of a teacher as a guru. Guru is a word for teacher, but it has a deeper meaning in India, in that it means master. Someone has mastered the art of knowing what they are, that they've realized what they are, and they can convey that same realization to another person who sincerely wants to know what they are. So it takes a lit candle to light another candle. So there's nothing mysterious about it. When you attain knowledge, you realize that it's quite simple. It isn't as complicated as spiritual teachers make it out to be. That it's my birthright. It's my very own self. It isn't the property of a religion. It isn't the property of a spiritual group. It isn't the property of a guru. It's mine. It's me. It's what I am. And what I am is every much as what anyone else is. We're all the same. So the spiritual teachers that came before and the spiritual teachers that come after, they're all speaking of one and the same thing. And the students of the teachers, they are taught that one truth, and they realize that truth, and they speak of that one truth to others that are also interested in something more than just existing as an animal, meaning what most people think about. Well, most people think about food. They think about sex. They think about sleep. They think about their interests. They might, whatever their interests are. There's lots of things to be interested in, and people have varying interests. Some people have similar interests, and some people have interests that are of no interest of ours whatsoever. But we all do have one thing in common, and that's we're all looking for satisfaction. We're looking for peace. Well, some will call that happiness, but look a little deeper and you see that it isn't happiness. We all have happiness at one time or another. On our birthday, we feel happy. It's a special day just for us. So most everybody, hopefully, they feel happy on their birthday. Somebody loves them and tries to make it a special day for them. But then the birthday is over, and then it's just a regular day. So then maybe there's the opposite. Maybe there's a melancholy after the excitement of the birthday. And we find that most days are days similar to the previous. And sometimes we have good days, and sometimes we have bad days. And sometimes we have great days, and sometimes we have terrible days. So that's called the world of duality, meaning everything has an opposite. We have the daytime, we have the nighttime, we have the sun, we have the moon, we have good creative thoughts, we have negative destructive thoughts. Everything in the world has an opposite. So happiness can be found by anyone. It doesn't take intelligence to have happiness. In fact, we see a lot of people with very little intelligence or seem to be very, very happy. So it isn't hard to see that what we're looking for isn't happiness, because everybody has that. It's just that it's intermittent. And some people think, well, I want permanent happiness. But again, that's a faulty concept. If all you want is to be fed and to be satisfied physically, if that's all you desire, it's not much of an existence. What about where you came from before you were born? What about where you go after you die? You won't be taking your physical body with you. You'll still exist, but your physical body will no longer exist. If your happiness is based on physical things, then how is that happiness going to last? So there has to be something more. There has to be something eternal. So we all feel that. Maybe not everybody can expressively put it into words, but we all feel that there's something that will make us happy. As a child, it can be a new bicycle. For an adult, it could be a new car, or it could be a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a wife or children. But then we observe our parents, we observe our grandparents. Did they find satisfaction in their children? Well, in many cases, their children were had different ideas about life than they did. They don't necessarily want to live the same type of life. So they don't necessarily find their children living the type of life that they want the children to live, and rightfully so. And grandchildren, being of a different generation, might have different desires entirely, maybe not even able to relate to the grandparents hardly at all. So we're not going to find purpose just in progeny and children or in family. We have family tragedies all the time, families separating, divorcing, or worse, death. Any of us and any of our family members can be taken away at any moment. I speak often of just on this one little road that I live on. Just in the past 10 years, the house across the street, the woman that lived there, she died. The man who bought the house from her, he just recently died. The man across the street, he just recently died. The woman to the left of him, she died. Now her daughter lives there. The woman to my left died. The man behind me, who's a farmer, he died. The man further down the street, he died. Pets die, our dogs die, our cats die. Everything dies. So everything that we work for, everything that we establish contact with, seems to have an unpleasant and abrupt ending, separation. And we don't feel like that's right. We don't feel like that's just. There's something in us that we all innately believe that there is eternal life. So this is what Kriya Yoga does, is it connects you with that eternal life, so that you know that life, you realize, you start to realize the meaning of life. What is the meaning of life? You're not told what the meaning of life is. You can be, but being told doesn't satisfy you. Realizing the meaning of life satisfies you. It's like, I know. If somebody else knows, that doesn't satisfy you. If somebody else knows the big secret, we can feel good just by associating with them, but we're gonna need to have that knowledge ourselves to really be satisfied. So what Kriya Yoga does is it helps facilitate your own experience, and it's a simple experience. It isn't complex. The more it divides and divides and divides and divides, the more and more complicated it appears to be. But it's still the same thing. So we can take one material. We can take gold, and we can make a gold elephant. We can make a gold giraffe. We can make a gold monkey. We can make a gold boat. We can make all sorts of different things out of gold, and then we can string them all together and make an anklet, or make a bracelet, or make a necklace. And so when somebody sees that we're wearing this necklace, the first thing they look because they see that it's gold, but what they pay attention to is, oh, that's a giraffe. Oh, that's an elephant. Oh, that's the moon. And we're fascinated by the differences. But it's all gold. It's all the same thing. It isn't the differences. The differences are temporary. At some point, the gold is going to go back to its original form of being gold.
Tat Sat, Gurudev.
Tat Sat. So meditation isn't just to be healthy or to be happy. It's to realize the meaning of life and to realize our purpose and our place in life. And you do that through meditation. Along with meditation, you continue to attend satsang. Satsang means the company of truth. And the reason you continue to attend satsang is there is a force in this world called Maya, and it's can be thought of as a force of ignorance. In Christianity, they say evil. I don't see it as evil. I just see it as a force of division. All division isn't bad. Just bad is bad. Division itself isn't bad. We can make more and more of something good, and that isn't bad. We can make more and more of something bad, and that isn't good. So good is good, and bad is bad. So Maya itself isn't a bad thing. It's only if it multiplies our confusion and multiplies our misunderstanding and multiplies our unhappiness. That's when it's a bad thing. It's a good thing when it multiplies our wisdom, multiplies our knowing, multiplies our love for each other, multiplies our understanding of each other. If you have something good, if you have something great, if you have something that's nourishing, if you have something that's appreciating, then you want to share that with others. If you have something that is miserable, if you have something that is ugly, there's something you don't want to share with others. At least you don't want to share it with those that you care about. So it's natural for love to be shared. It's natural for you to want to share love. It's natural for you to want to share good life with each other. So you find that every master, every prophet, every saint, every avatar throughout history taught the same thing. The same thing that you're going to be taught today, and that's how to see yourself. We know how to see our body. We can look down and see our body. If we want to see our body completely, we can get in different positions and see our body with the aid of a mirror. And we can see, if we have two mirrors, we can see every part of our body. But how to see ourselves? What tool do we use? It's really not any more complicated than that. To know yourself, you need a tool to see yourself. So what is that tool? Most people don't know that tool. Even the most educated spiritualists and philosophers, they don't know what that tool is. Ask them. Do they have the answer? They can tell you what they read in the scriptures. And if they've memorized the philosophy really well, they can tell you without quoting scripture, because they've intellectually understood the philosophy so well. But it's just words. It doesn't have meaning without understanding. It doesn't have meaning without realization. So with the proper meditation, with the proper teaching, you can have your own realization. It doesn't require a book. It doesn't require another person. It doesn't require a guru. It doesn't require a friend. You have everything that you need. You're already fully equipped. What Krishna, Jesus, Buddha, they all taught this. They all taught that you were made in the image of God. That in fact you and God are the same. You're not God. God is God, and you are you. You're the same. You're made of the same stuff. You're made of divine consciousness. So when you sit still to meditate, what do you notice first? You sit up straight. Sit on a wool cloth, and you sit up straight, and you close your eyes, and you look between the eyebrows where the spiritual eye is. And what do we experience? Well, first thing we experience darkness with some light coming through. And then we start to experience our thoughts. And your thoughts are your thoughts. Everybody has their own batch of thoughts continually flowing and evolving and changing continuously, never staying the same, always moving, changing. And people can have, I can say elephant. Each and every one of you here thinks of an elephant, but you don't have the same picture. You're thinking of the same of an elephant, but you don't have the same picture of an elephant. Each and every one of you have a different picture of the elephant. Even though the elephant's the same, you all see the elephant differently. In our mind, being a wonderful agent of describing, as it can describe what an elephant is in pictures and paintings and photographs, and then stories and all sorts of methods. I'm sure there's some wonderful elephant songs too. And then you can go into the jungle, and right there in Haldwani, you can go into the jungle and see a real elephant, or along the banks of the Ganges and Rishikesh. It's not uncommon to see wild elephants on the other side of the river. Or you can go to Africa. You can go to various places and see an elephant. For most people, the only thing they've seen of an elephant is in a coloring book or in a picture book. So everybody sees something different. So if you say God, love God, you're made in the image of God, wouldn't it make sense that everybody would have a different image? Everybody would have a different idea. And let's say you're exposed to religion, and the religion is based around a particular idea. But even that particular idea has a lot of divisions within it. For example, Christianity, just in this little town, there's It's a small town of only 18,000 people, but there's over 80 churches of different denominations that are all based on Jesus, on Christ. Why so many denominations? Well, it's because people have different beliefs in what Jesus taught, different ideas about Jesus. Well, what about Jesus? To really know Jesus would be to spend time with him, would be to know him. And he would know you, and you would know him. That would be your best version of knowing Jesus, wouldn't it? So that's the best knowledge. Well, why shouldn't we have that with God, especially since God is omnipresent? God is everywhere. God isn't in one place only. God isn't in a cave in the Himalayas only. God is also in the downtown New Delhi. He's also in Sydney, Australia. He's also in New York City. He's also in Rome, Italy. Also in Madrid, Spain. He's also on the moon. He's also on Saturn. He's also very powerfully in the sun. He's also under the earth as a worm. He also roams the earth as a wolf. God is everywhere and in everything. So how to know that one thing shouldn't be hard. And in fact, it should be quite easy. So why do we find it so hard? Well, it's only hard because we have somebody or something running interference. And it's a simple thing. It's called our active mind. If you can calm your mind, then you can know God. I think it says in the Bible, be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. What does that mean? It means to calm your mind. Have you ever had a calm mind? Usually between right as you're starting to fall off to sleep, and sleep is coming, your mind is calm momentarily, and then unconsciousness overtakes you. And then when you wake up, if you had a nice, peaceful night's rest, you wake up and you feel refreshed and you feel calm until you start thinking about all the different things you're going to do that day, unpleasant things or pleasant things. The pleasant things can disturb your mind as much as the unpleasant things can disturb your mind. One of the first things I noticed as a young boy is that sometimes I was disturbed if I had to do something that I didn't want to do. I felt disturbed. When I was able to do what I wanted to do, then I felt happy. And then I came old enough to where I started school, and then my mind started to become very disturbed because I didn't like going to school. I liked my life just fine the way that it was, waking up in the morning and going and playing in the jungle with my friends. But adults said I had to go to school. And so then disturbance came. Instead of play and fun, it was mostly disturbance after that. And then you become an adult, and in school they teach you that more and more of what's in store for you in your future, and you start to worry. And then you get older, and those worries start to manifest. You find that the more interactive you are with the world, the more worries you have. simpler your life is, the less worries you have. You find that there's always some trouble in life, always. It seems that as soon as I would, I'd be playing happily along, and then I would get poison ivy. And poison ivy, I was allergic to it. So poison ivy is very disturbing because it itches like crazy. And then with the right lotions and potions, and especially salt water, swimming in the ocean, eventually I would get over the poison ivy, and I would run about and play, and then I would fall down and skin my knee. So then I would have to wear a bandage on my knee. And then I would go about when that was healing and play, and then I would twist an ankle. And I'd wait a while, that would heal, and then I would have too many homemade donuts, and I would get a stomachache. So, and I saw that life was like that for everybody. Everybody had ailments. Everybody had good days, and everybody had bad days. So the prophets, the masters, the gurus have never said that you meditate to change that. They've all taught in the Vedas, the Upanishads, in every scripture. They say that the world is what it is. You're not here to change the world. You're here to change your viewpoint of the world, and you do that through knowledge, through knowing what the world is, and most importantly, what God is. And you do that through experience, not through concept, but through experience. So in Kriya Yoga, I'm going to teach you the techniques now. I'm going to give you some guidelines, some hints, some secrets that'll make the whole process much easier. It's very important that you meditate at the same time every day. Now, this is just a little trick. Anything that you do at the same time every day, you start to establish a routine. In other words, a feeling of doing that. I did this at 4 o'clock yesterday. That 4 o'clock comes around, and you have a memory of doing it at 4 o'clock. And then you do it again. It establishes a habit. So automatically at 4 o'clock, you feel that I have a need to do this. Maybe even forgotten what that need is, but you've established a habit of it. So we all know about habits. So meditation is really about establishing a good habit of introspection. So it's important to do it every day and do it in the same position. So you want to have the proper posture. You want to have the proper, it's called an asana. And the best asana is what's best for you. I always practice the Padmasana, which is the lotus posture. But find whatever posture works for you that allows you to have a sit comfortably upright. It's best to sit on the floor to meditate. You can sit in a chair, it's okay, but it's best to establish a habit of sitting on the floor. There's certain magnetic characteristics to the earth that helps support you in your meditation when you're sitting on the floor. So just one leg over the other is perfectly fine. But it's important to understand that you have to be comfortable when you're meditating. Meditation is in a very big sense, it's the ability to relax. So when you go to sleep, people that have difficulty sleeping is because they have difficulty relaxing. So if they're doing something strenuous, they'll have to calm down for a while before they can go to sleep. So meditation is like that. You can't be busy with some activity and then just sit and go right into meditation. So it's important to meditate in the morning. That's the most important time to meditate because you're awakening from sleep. You're not doing anything in the world when you're sleeping. You're just resting and sleeping. You might have some dreams, but they're not interactive with your physical body. So you awaken in a calm state because you're not caught up in the world. You have your memories and your thoughts from the previous day, but not in action, just only a thought. So meditate at the same time every day in the morning, whatever morning is for you. I've always enjoyed waking up early to the extreme of most people. I've always woken up at 2:30 in the morning. So that gave me plenty of time to meditate in the morning before anybody else woke up, before anything got busy. But I would say at the latest, you should be waking up at 5 a.m. If you really want to have benefit from Kriya Yoga meditation, you want to wake up by 5 a.m. Even if you're going to sleep at 11 p.m., you want to wake up at 5 a.m. So as you want to be regular in meditation, you also want to be regular. And when you wake up, you want to have your cycle of waking to fit your cycle of meditating. These are nothing esoteric or complicated about that. This just has to do with our body rhythms and the rhythms of our mind, and the way that the human body works and the human brain works. Scientists and mental psychological behaviorists can attest to that. So you want to meditate at the same time every morning. So let's say you wake up at 5. Very first thing you want to do is splash some water in your face and to wake you up. I find that always works well. And then I like to have a warm beverage. I like to have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, so that you don't feel like you're rushing into meditation. You never want to rush into anything. To think that you want to rush into meditation, you're already going about it in the wrong way. You want to feel that you have plenty of time to meditate. So if you're doing something at the last minute, you always feel like there's a matter of rushing to do it. So you don't want to have a time element at the forefront of your meditation. So you want to wake up early enough before your day starts that you have time to meditate without feeling rushed. Let's say you wake up at 5 and splash some water on your face, do what else is necessary, and then sit on the floor and do some light stretching. The traditional stretching is just simply the Mahamudra, and you can look that up in a book or on YouTube to see how to just simply do the Mahamudra. Don't do any breathing with it. Just do it as a way to limber up in the morning. It thoroughly warms up all the muscles of your body and all the ligaments and joints of your body. And you only want to spend a few minutes doing the Mahamudra. It shouldn't take you more than 4 or 5 minutes. You do the Mahamudra with the left leg, with the right leg, and then with both legs. And then you can do that a second time, and then you're thoroughly warm. So then you're sitting in an upright position. feel the bottom of your spine. You know where the bottom of your spine is located, just slightly above the genital region. And you're thinking of the back of your spine. And you can just kind of shift your pelvis to feel where the back of your spine is. Then follow your spine up. You can just physically feel, you don't have to touch. You can just physically feel how you're, with your knowledge of the spine, how it comes up to the back of your brain. So it goes from the slightly above the anal sphincter. So think of your spine and then think of the place between your eyebrows. And that's where you want to place your attention, is between the eyebrows. And just gently close your eyes, raise your eyebrows just a little bit to where there's just some little creases on your forehead. And then close. This is going to put your eyes at a slightly upward tilt. But again, no strain whatsoever. Just like when you sleep, you can't be straining when you go to sleep. You have to be relaxed. You want your body to be completely relaxed. Your meditation posture should be a completely relaxed posture. You shouldn't be sitting so straight that you're putting strain on your body. You want to be relaxed. So meditation, proper meditation is conscious relaxation. You want to feel conscious and relaxed. And then as you connect to meditation, you'll start to feel super conscious. And that's something peculiar that you'll experience. Most people don't feel super conscious and relaxed at the same time. So through meditation, you can feel super conscious, be super super aware, but also be relaxed at the same time. So this is the technique, and the purpose of the technique is to calm the mind. And when the mind is calm, it's like the analogy is that the sun is always there, but it's covered up by the endless, restless thoughts that can be thought of as clouds. And when the clouds are dispelled, then the sun that was always there, you start to feel the sun. And you start to feel the benefits of the sun, feel the warmth of the sun. And most people find it utterly impossible to calm their minds for any significant length of time. Most people cannot do it. And the more you try, the harder it is. The more you struggle with it, the more it struggles back. So there's a secret to calming the mind. The mind is kinetic, meaning the mind follows movement. Your breath is dynamic. Your breath is like a motor. So you're constantly breathing in and breathing out ever since you were born. That's your moment of birth is when you take in your first breath and you let it out. I mean, just think of all those years ago when you first had your very first breath. And you've done it so much, we just take it for granted, unless we have trouble breathing. Like if we're underwater a little too long, then we realize just how much we need air. So breathing is vital. Well, breathing is what connects us to God. There's many meditation teachers and many meditation associations that base all of their meditations on the breath. Kriya Yoga is different. Kriya Yoga, you begin to have breath awareness, but that's not where you end. You just have that as a beginning point, and then you connect with an ever-present existence that is when the breath becomes slow. and then when the breath is almost non-existent. And as the breath becomes less and less and less, the stronger and stronger this reality that I call God comes into view, comes into being, comes into realization. So this is how you calm your mind. It will always work. Arjuna told Krishna that calming the mind is impossible. And Krishna said that it seems that way, but you can. And then Krishna taught him the technique I'm going to teach you now.